Welcome to the JAMODI podcast. We are all surrounded by amazing coaches and leaders. So let's get an inside look at not just what they do, but how they do what they do. After all, becoming the best versions of ourselves is JAMODI, just a matter of doing it.
The JAMODI podcast is powered by Sideline Interactive. Sideline Interactive is the leading manufacturer for high-quality, innovative scoring tables and LED video display boards that help coaches and schools bring more excitement to fans, create huge fundraising opportunities, and make their jobs easier. Visit sidelineinteractive.com to check out their amazing products. I'd love to hear a little bit of the standards and pillars of your program. You've made playoffs every year, and you've won 9 district titles. Is that current, or is there more now?
We got third last year, so no more.
Okay.
That's
all right. So, but 9 district titles in the 14 years that you've been a head coach, that's pretty incredible. What are some of the standards and pillars of your program?
Actually, it is 10. We won. This year it is 10. But anyway, I mean, for me, when we have our parent meeting, I make sure they know that God comes first in my life. The next thing is going to be family. So the family culture, the family atmosphere, like I want that to be a pillar because I want our parents and kids to know what we think of first. And I think you get tested with that as a coach when something comes up with their family, things like that. You have to be, I mean, if you're going to talk the talk, you have to be okay with them, and support, certain family things. Now, what's family, like what they can use as family, I would definitely let them know or kind of talk to them about.
My second cousin is
right. Exactly. Because you will have to deal with that. And then education in the classroom, obviously we talk about that big, and we haven't had many, situations, but we let all the teachers here know. You let us know immediately if there's any problem in your classroom. Like, we want to take care of it. And then basketball after that. So that's kind of the biggest pillars as far as just overall program. Yeah. And then as far as basketball wise, I think some of the pillars are going to be toughness. Like we always talk about, the toughest team is going to win. If you're a talented team and you're not tough, especially in the playoffs, you're not going to win. And then commitment and sacrifice is one. Togetherness is one we preach. And then the last one would be compete. And that's just kind of encompasses everything and encompasses everything as far as in practice, in games. Like you have to play this game, you have to be a person that wants to compete and loves to compete to be successful. So those are kind of the basketball pillars that we stand by.
With the classroom, I've gone back and forth of how involved I am with weekly grade checks. Here's a sheet. Make sure you get this filled out. Give it to me by Friday. If there's any zeros on it, you're going to have towel pushes. And I don't think that's bad to do, but I've also then taken the route of, especially maybe at a place like Faith where basketball is 3rd or 4th on the list, like academics is pretty important to most of them, and their parents are super involved. So the teachers really need me also giving them something else? But I agree with you. The players know that anything coming from the teacher, I'm automatically listening to them. And you're not going to get me versus the teachers ever. So we're on the same team. But I've taken the approach of your goal is to take care of your stuff. And if you don't, the consequences, you don't get to play through taps. What are some of the things that you've done maybe to, you said you let the teachers know, but is there anything else that you've done to have accountability with your players?
I'm in the exact same boat. I've done the grade check thing. I've done those things. But I think sometimes when we do those things and we give them ways out, or we're the one doing it, like it takes away all the accountability from them.
I think we're enabling. Yeah, enabling a little bit.
100%. Yep. So I've gotten completely away. Like when I'm talking about talking to the teachers, it's strictly behavior. Like grade well, whatever you fail, or you're not eligible, like that's on you. You let your teammates down. I mean, you have to deal with all those consequences, whatever they are. And we haven't had any. Because I think they just take care of it. And I mean, I check it in just randomly, and I might say, what's going on with this? And they might, oh, coach, I wasn't here. I got to come make it up in stores, whatever the reason is. But they've taken care of it. And I think when you let them to be accountable to something, if they mess it up or fail, it normally happens once, and then it doesn't happen again.
And I think it's an important lesson for them to go through. Maybe that player, that person needs to fail in that way for that wake-up call, because maybe they're one of those by giving they've been able to just get by enough, and it finally caught up to them. That, golly, coach, there's so many things in life.
Yeah, they always expect there's someone to come, hey, you need to do this.
Yeah.
I mean, that does not happen in life. Yeah.
It doesn't. And I think super important for us to be on the side of our teachers. Not that we're against our players. The side thing sounds bad. But even if I feel like the teacher might have been able to communicate something better, maybe the timing of the project or the expectations weren't how I would do it with the player, it's always going to be whatever the teacher had established, and we're going to go with that. And there's not going to be like, I'm sorry, Mr. So-and-so. He's just, we got to be careful with that. But then, I don't know how you feel about this. I don't mind disciplining basketball players during basketball for things that they do. If second period athletics is a class, I'm going to discipline them for being 1 second late, for wearing the wrong thing, when a coach is talking or something, for not standing still. Like, I'm going to discipline those in those standards that we have. I don't really enjoy disciplining them for someone else's classroom. And so, not that I ever tell a teacher, don't come to me with that stuff, but I do always ask a couple questions like, what have you told him and what have you done with him so far? Yeah. Like, I want to know, like, is this the first time that you're seeing this? Have you addressed it with him? And then I always say, too, have you had a conversation with the parents? And it kind of lets me know a little bit of, like, really what kind of situation are we dealing with here? Is this so bad that you've already had to talk to his parents twice? And this, okay, I'm going to have a conversation with them. And if none of that other stuff's happened and they still want me to take care of it, I will. But am I off in that?
Well,
go ahead.
On your side, you're right. We might be enabling the teacher.
Yeah. Like, hey, listen, classroom discipline, don't worry about it. I got it in basketball. Like, I don't know. There's a part of this job where you're going to have to be the bad guy. And we all take that, just like parenting. There's going to be times where we tell them no, and that life's not fair, and that there's consequences. But I'm going to do it within the realm that I have them. But that doesn't mean I don't care about how they behave there. But I do want there to feel, I don't want to feel like there's some type of teamwork happening here. I'm not just bad cop for the entire school. But man, that may not be a very popular way of thinking about that. But I always felt like when I was at McKinney High School and I had taught 5 English classes a day, Coach, I never went to the football coach to discipline. Now I can't make them run or do towel pushes in the classroom, but I can give detentions. I can call parents. I can give zeros. Like, there's things that I can do, but it's uncomfortable, and I have to see them every day knowing that they don't like me very much. But sorry, go ahead.
Well, yeah. I mean, maybe that's the thing is we talk to the teachers do have to try other avenues first, and then we can help out. But our culture has always been like, I love hearing the teachers talk about, oh, the basketball kids are so well behaved. The basketball kids are like, they do what's right. They like, that's what we want our program to be about. So that.
And I want to go back. I'm not promoting that basketball doesn't care about anything else in the school and what they're doing there. But I don't want to be just the stick. I don't want to be the stick that just hits every kid for everything, because there's also different levels of, like, I mean, what were they doing? Like, what was the infraction? Can it be taken care of there? Or is this like, are we being very disrespectful to the point where maybe it's breaking some of the standards that we have in our program? Because what we don't want, Coach, is our standards just to be about basketball and on the floor. We want our standards to be about who we are and how we do things and how we show up. So maybe my way of thinking about that might not be the best. I'm all for partnering with teachers and helping them. I just don't like to be the first line of defense for them.
Yeah. I think if we show them we support in whatever discipline that they have, I think that's huge, and that's with my own son. If he's screwing up, like most of the time, I don't care what the situation is. I'm probably going to be his fault. But I mean, I walked into daycare when he was little one time, and I walk around, and this teacher's getting onto him, and she sees me and she stops. I'm like, no, you go ahead. I'm in full support of whatever you're doing. So just really supporting those teachers in whatever discipline they're trying to give, I think would be great.
Thank you for checking out today's episode. Please take a moment to subscribe to this podcast, share it with your fellow coaches, and find us on social media for what's coming up next on the JAMODI podcast. It's just a matter of doing it.